say no.
I don't care what other people think. I saw Bigfoot 10 years ago. I was with 11 other Boy Scouts at the time. And we were camping 18 miles south of Butte in the Deer Lodge National Forest. We had walked in to the forest about 5 miles that day.
Not over yet, we got another mile.
In this dramatic recreation is what Dan Malachny and two of his friends claim they saw. It was after a long day of hiking and a long night of telling mysterious tales around a campfire. For the more impressionable, sleep was long in coming and short in duration. Whatever it was in the forest, Dan's friend was the first to sense it. The first to hear it. Dan and one other boy claim they also saw the hairy, man-like giant. Some boys doubted their story, but Dan was certain.
It took us a couple hours to get back to sleep, and when we got up the next morning, we went up on the ridge where we saw the Bigfoot at, and when we got up there, we discovered a number of footprints, the biggest footprints I've ever seen, and they look something like this.
Exhibit A, the footprints. By now, thousands of them, first observed, then preserved in plaster. Human-like footprints, some 18 inches long, 7 inches wide. The footprints of a giant.
Did you say talk up?
Yeah.
In the area where most of these footprints have been found, a privately funded expedition sponsored through the National Wildlife Federation hopes to photograph a live Bigfoot or produce evidence of a dead one. Under the direction of Robert Morgan of Miami, Florida, the group has already claimed discovery of additional footprints in Oregon and Washington. They believe a colony of over 200 Bigfoot creatures inhabit the unexplored wilderness of the Pacific Northwest. The expedition has tried to anticipate the creatures' movements, running the roads, keeping a watchful eye for any evidence of its passing. Thinking Bigfoot to be a nocturnal creature, they're prepared to penetrate the darkness of night with special light amplification viewing devices. Morgan, a former government computer specialist, began to pursue Bigfoot only after having seen one, he says, in 1957.
And all of a sudden, this thing went through the bushes. He didn't go around. He went, I mean, I could see the wake, you know, just plowed right through it, and he moved up at an angle away from me. I was on the edge of a canyon. And at a point, I estimate about 40 yards from me, it went into an opening, a clearing in the brambles. And what I saw was the most man-like looking gorilla, in my estimation, that I'd ever seen.
In their search for evidence, monster hunters must always be on guard against the hoaxer, like Ray Pickens of Chehalis, Washington. 7 times beginning in 1971, Pickens has tracked the wilderness with bogus Bigfoot tracks. His purpose, not to fool the scientists, but to fool the monster hunters. He tells us why.
Well, we were sitting there having coffee at this Arden Cafe, and two gentlemen came in, and they was asking us about Bigfoot. We said, well, we didn't believe in it. And one gentleman says, well, you hicks around Arden probably wouldn't. And I turned to my friend, which his name is Harvey, and I says, Harvey, we're hicks. What are we going to do about it? And he says, yeah, what are we going to do about it? I says, we're going to show them who the hicks are. And then I went home and made boots. And by the time the next day was over, there was 700-800 people looking at the tracks from all over the country.
There are a number of footprints that I've seen that are faked, and this can be done. But on the other hand, there are a few that show some characteristics that I think could not have been faked. This is one such footprint. This cast, I've drawn in the approximate reconstructions of the bones. This is a crippled individual where a couple of bulges have extended out between adjacent bones on the outer edge of the foot. If this had been a human foot, these bulges would have been farther back, but they're shifted forward, making the heel longer and the front of the foot shorter. This is exactly what is required for a foot that's going to carry perhaps an 800-pound body. Now, I don't think any faker could have thought of it and figured this out and adjusted his footprint accordingly. A fake footprint is just simply an expanded, enlarged footprint or enlarged copy of a human foot.
Here, in actual footage taken of what is said to be a real Bigfoot, is a creature similar to Dr. Kranz's club-footed giant. Filmed by Ivan Marks in late 1969 in Bosburg, Washington, the film has been denounced as a fake by some monster hunters. Here is yet another film of an alleged Bigfoot, also taken by Marks in Alaska in 1973. Marks, a hunter and maker of nature films, insists on its authenticity. No matter what the Marks films indicate, the most compelling evidence for Bigfoot's possible existence remains that presented by eyewitnesses. Former Sheriff Oliver Potter.
Like I say, I'm born in the woods, the Cascade Mountains. I know the animals that are here. This was something different that I had never seen before. A large creature, about 7.5 to 8 foot tall. It was grayish-black in color, and as it went away from me, I seen the backside of it, walking as a man would walk on its hind legs.
It moved more or less like a man, and it was about 6-7 feet tall and probably a blackish-brown color. And I couldn't see his face because it was running away from me across the road. And I actually, her and I both saw it disappear into the brush. Like I say, I was born and raised around here, and bears just don't walk on his hind legs that long.
There were 4 of us in the car when I was the first one to sight it. We pulled up on the freeway and pulled back for optimum viewing. Oh, I'd seen people from the same location and in about the same spot before. Humans up there. It probably was twice the size.
And it was a dark brown, just swaying back and forth, sitting on a rock.